Hello everybody, it's TMOF Wrestling here. I'm Russ, this is Ash.
Hello.
We are going to give you our Extreme Rules predictions for ahead of WWE Extreme Rules, which is going to be this Saturday on the 8th. A Saturday show, fantastic.
Yeah, they're getting good at this.
They are getting very good at this. 6 matches, first of all, the 6-match thing, I like it. After Clash at the Castle, again, like each match got a good amount of time. It felt very takeover-ish. In terms of, you know, every match kind of felt a bigger deal because it was allowed that time to excel and tell you the stories that they wanted to tell you in each match, and each match did feel different. And I think if there's ever a time where each match feels different for a premium live event in WWE, this is the one.
Yeah, I mean, it's Extreme Rules, so there'd be gimmick matches, but not like the old days when there'd be a street fight and no holds barred.
Yeah, essentially all the same match. Yeah, I'm very excited. There's a very good variety for this one. This is going to be in no particular order because we don't know what's going to open the show. But what do you think will open the show? And we'll start with that.
If I had to guess with the opener, it would probably be the Brawling Brutes of Sheamus, Rich Holland and Butch, the Imperium of Gunther, Leroy Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci in a 6-man tag team good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, which I believe is like a street fight.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Based on what we saw at Clash at the Castle and how brutal that match was in all the right ways.
Yes.
This really, I mean, it is going to be a brawl, isn't it? Like, this really will be.
That's the idea.
This is going to be hard-hitting. The prediction is that they're going to beat the absolute stuffing out of each other. I think everybody wins, fans-wise.
Yes.
This one, I think everyone wins. But I do think this is probably a win for the Brawling Brutes.
Okay.
On the basis that Sheamus is riding a big high from Clash at the Castle, and it was a really big face turn. I don't know how expected. I guess that would have been expected to a degree because it's like home turf, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he's riding a big high at the moment. Like it's another sort of surge in his career, and I think alongside Gunther's, basically Imperium won't suffer from a loss here, and Gunther doesn't need to be the one to take a pinfall. So
no,
you know, either Bartel or it's not Bartel now, is it? Ludwig or Giovanni will take the pinfall or submission or however it will go down. But I don't necessarily know if it will be Sheamus that gets the deciding win. I reckon like Butch or Ridge Holland pick up the win for the Brawling Brutes. That's my prediction.
Alright, that's fair. I just got to keep going for Gunther.
Yeah, it's a tough one, this one, which I like. I like it when you can't. It's not an easy one to call.
I would say Gunther, even if they did the idea of the title was on the line, and anyone could. And if Sheamus' team wins, then Sheamus won a title, but I don't think they would do that again. Like they did. Really.
No.
But I'm saying Gunther.
It's tricky to call this 100%. Well, it's tricky. You can never call it 100%.
No.
But it's hard to give a full prediction really because we haven't seen SmackDown yet because it's not aired. You know, we're recording this on Tuesday the 4th of October, so we've still got the Go Home SmackDown before the Extreme Rules event, and you know, that really could be kind of telling. Whoever's standing tall at the Go Home usually takes the L on the night, right? So
well, we'll get to that in another match.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, it's going to be Liv Morgan defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Ronda Rousey. Ronda is in absolute badass mode at the moment.
And it's an Extreme Rules match.
It's an Extreme Rules match. The only Extreme Rules match that's classified as Extreme Rules, which is a good thing on the card. I think it's really tough because I still feel like they won't take the title off of Liv yet. But then if you're not going to take the title off of Liv, then it will not be a clean finish.
Well, you can't in an Extreme Rules match, can you?
No, but I mean, like in terms of like, there's got to be some sort of interference, and maybe this is where Shayna Baszler, because I'm still sticking to it. I still feel like Baszler and Rousey. That's an angle I want to see, and maybe this could be it. I don't know, but then you don't want too much interference in all your matches, do you, and things like that. Like we saw a lot of that on Raw last night. You know, a lot of distraction finishes and all that kind of stuff. Like you don't necessarily want to see that all the time. But if you were going to do one, and actually it probably won't be one, but we'll come to a prediction at the end. But yeah, I feel like if there was going to be one, then that would be a good place to do it. But I kind of still feel like Liv's going to win. I've got to go Liv, one way or another, by hook or by crook, or as Blackman would say.
Who?
Yeah, Steve Blackman. Oh. One way or another.
I'm going for Ronda. I just think she'll win, and the way that they build her up, kind of like how they did in her first run, where she was just battering people left and right.
See, now I think about it, I just don't know.
I don't want it to be like a quick 5-minute match. I want it to be a like 10-15 between that time period. But because they built Liv more than a bit, where they
did a good job with her on SmackDown last week.
She put, was it Lacey Evans to the table?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it has to have like so many tables, so many kendo sticks, so many chairs shots, just enough where it's believable that both can win, but they need Ronda to win.
But I guess that's the other way of looking at it, isn't it? Even if there isn't any outside interference, Liv Morgan has the edge with weapons and things. Well, so she can turn the match around in her favour for, and otherwise what we've seen previously booked is that, Rousey, clearly the aggressor, has all of the mixed martial arts background and things and knows how to hurt Liv and can beat her.
Yeah.
So, legit. So, which is always a hard thing to get around booking wise, isn't it? But I'm going to say I'll go Liv. So we're complete opposites at the moment.
Yeah.
I like it. If I do beat you on the predictions for this one, I'm going to throw a party. What do we think what's going to be next? These are predictions in our own right. What we're predicting the order.
Yeah, what happens if we get the match order correct? Nothing.
Little high five.
I would say we'll go for Bianca Belair versus Bayley ladder match.
Like this. Did you know this is the first time I think ever for a one-on-one women's ladder match?
Yeah, because obviously they did Money in the Bank in the past.
But for single one-on-one, the first ever WWE women's ladder match.
It feels weird to say that because it feels like they've done every first with women in the last few years, like main event, Hell in a Cells.
I think at least it is certainly on the main roster though.
Yeah,
like Raw and SmackDown.
Because they've done ladder matches on NXT for the War Games.
Yeah,
and I think they were one-on-one.
I think this is one of the ones I'm really looking forward to the most actually on the card. Bianca Belair continues to just become just this, like, pun intended, but powerhouse in the women's division. Like, she's got everything going for her. She's got the charisma, she's got a unique look, and her in-ring skill is incredible. Like, she's got that Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli kind of like superhuman strength, and they're not like you don't have to be like some massive big, do you know what I mean, to be like, oh, they're the powerhouse. Like, she's just freakishly strong. Do
you remember when she lifted up Otis?
It's mad. Like Otis, for crying out loud. Bianca Belair works really, really well as a babyface for me, and the stark contrast between, I think Bayley was one of those ones that did do so well in NXT, and as the babyface of the women's division in NXT. Like Sami Zayn levels of.
Yeah, I know how well both of them work as heels now.
Right, exactly. But that's the thing. Like, Bayley works fantastic as a heel, and I think this is great. Like, the two are excellent in the ring. I think we're going to have a really good ladder match. I do think we're going to see Bayley win.
Now, I would have said that if it weren't for the go home on Raw, where she brought down the title, and that usually means that it's not going to happen. Right.
Which I know is kind of the hypocrisy of what I've just said.
Yeah.
But I feel like this could, this really could be a. If Bayley gets the title now, there's a lot of I'm only looking at it in terms of like how many other challengers can Belair really have now next to Bayley.
Yeah.
There isn't really at the moment. I'm fine with whatever, to be honest. Like, I'm happy. I like to go on for the ride for these sort of things. I'm not going to get hung up on so and so should have won and whatever. But I do think Bayley wins this one. I think this is the start of like Damage Control's kind of big
It should be, and it should lead up to War Games, which will be the next after what's it called? Crown Jewel.
Crown
Jewel comes after this.
Yep.
And I would say having Bayley win and leading up to War Games would make sense as the champions.
I would say so.
I'm just going to say Belair, only because
you just want to argue with me.
Only because of how the go home went, and you've already got the image.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, that's 3 in a row, which I think are really difficult to call.
That's a good thing, though. You don't want matches where you can.
No, if we could sit here and predict everything right all the time, and sometimes that's the difference, isn't it? Like sometimes something, just because something is predictable doesn't mean that it is a bad thing. Not necessarily.
No, some predictability can bring out good matches.
Yeah, of course. What's going to be next?
I'd say Edge and Bálor in the I Quit match.
This is going to be, I think again, this is going to be another one of those ones. Like I said with Edge and Styles at Mania, I don't think we're not going to expect a big fast-paced match. It's going to be slow. It's going to be a slow builder, and it's going to tell a really good story, just like I felt the one with AJ did at Mania. And I think when Edge does do those types of matches, I really, really like those ones. I
like the match at Mania, but what match was it before? Or before it?
I don't know if it was directly before it, but we had Johnny Knoxville.
There might be
versus Sami Zayn.
It might be in that, and
very, very different matches. No, look, this is going to be great, and Edge cutting that kind of promo on Raw, just gone last night. You know, one where he's like sat in the ring.
Yeah.
I think at home, and it was another one of those kind of real. It felt like real close to home sort of things. It's great. Edge is still like top of his game. It's crazy to think like he probably is coming to like the end of his career again now. But
yeah,
like he just feels like he's at the top of his game. And Bálor and the Judgment Day, I love everything going on with it. This is really hard to call. This is probably the hardest one to call. Well, I'm gonna go Finn Bálor.
I'm going for Bálor because he's got the Judgment Day. And there's no Rey Mysterio with Edge because obviously with Dom, what's happened with Dom and Rey, and they're probably not going to touch for a while.
Yeah, which is exactly how I'd want it to be. Like, you know, again, it's that slow build, which I really like and really appreciate. But I think it also, AJ Styles is kind of a factor in this match as well, an unknown entity at the moment, isn't he? Because we don't really know what they're going to do with AJ.
Well, could they? Is he going to join Judgment Day? Are they going to change the name to Judgment Club? Judgment Club.
Is it the Judgment Club now?
Yeah.
You can't just leave me hanging on camera. So I think but we both agree with that one then.
Yeah.
Nice. What is going to be next? I think we're probably then going to get the Fight Pit match.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Between Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins, with a special. He's like the enforcer. He's
the referee.
Daniel
Cormier.
Who
I know is a wrestling fan.
I think this could be this could be cool, but it depends what he does at it.
Well, they did the first one, which was Riddle v Timothy Thatcher with their cut angle as a referee. I don't think the referee did anything really.
Yeah, but this is. You're not going to bring someone like Daniel Cormier in and not utilise him in some fashion, even if it's like a Tyson Fury type deal now, where it's like he's going to hit someone.
Oh, he's not going to sing, is he?
We're going to get Daniel Cormier singing American Pie at the end of the night.
Well, Cormier, for most wrestling fans, would be famous for when he squared up to Brock Lesnar after winning the UFC title. Which led to nothing because it was going to be a fight. Then Brock Lesnar said no, I've retired.
But this one, again, I like the Rollins and Riddle rivalry. I think this. I don't know how much further they can go with it. I feel like it's reaching towards its end now, and I feel like we're going to start moving into Rollins chasing the US title with Lashley.
Yeah, because it's technically would be the third match Because I think I still count the brawl at SummerSlam as a part of the feud where you'd have someone look stronger.
Yeah, but then based on where both of the guys are going to go after this, that's what I mean. Like, do you have Rollins win 2 consecutively, like actual matches in a row? Because I'm leaning towards Rollins being the victor. I feel like Rollins is going to win.
I think it needs Seth to win again, because.
But then where does it leave Riddle? I guess we'll see, because we don't really know what's happening with Randy at the moment.
No.
Like, the reports going around is that WWE's supposedly more concerned with his back injury than initially it's a lot worse than what they thought it would have been.
But it's funny how they're taking him more serious now. He's not just the high wrestler that he portrayed.
Yeah, which is great for Matt Riddle. I think regardless, like whoever comes out on top of this feud, I think if they have a really good match, then it's the same as anything. Both can come out looking great whether you win or lose it, right? So we'll see. This is one of those, like, this could go kind of either way for me, that fight pit match.
But I think because it's submission or knockout, and Riddle's got the MMA background, I think it'd be best if he wins. Unless
Cormier knocks Riddle out.
Well, Cormier...
Maybe that's what we get instead. Maybe it won't be Lesnar. Maybe it'll be Riddle and Cormier, crown jewel. I'm going to call it now.
Well, it's funny because Riddle was welterweight / middleweight and Cormier was heavyweight and light heavyweight, so...
It means nothing if you're going to put Lesnar.
If this match was booked...
This ain't MMA.
Well, if it was booked in Pride, it would have made a difference.
WWE, brother. Yeah, I'm going to say Rollins.
I'll go for Riddle. Only because of his background.
Oh, this is going to be... One of us... There's potential here for one of us to be completely devastated in the predictions war. Like, it really could happen, and it's going to be you. So the main event then.
The strap match.
I think this will be main event.
It should be, because if what we think is going to happen after the match or during the match could affect it, it's Karrion Kross v Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, in a strap match.
I don't like strap matches. Only it depends if it's going to be touched in the corner or if it's just going to be a pinfall. If it's pinfall, then those ones are alright, because you don't have the...
No, yeah, I don't like the... That's a 4 corners one though, isn't it? I think they put emphasis on 4 corners when it's one where you have to touch the corner. I think it's just a case of like how we've seen AEW utilise it, which is more of a throwback to the matches of old, really, like the ones we would have seen in like Memphis and going back through the decades. I think those ones, because they're more brutal, and I think that's probably hopefully what we're going to get. There's obviously only so much they can do with it, because they're not going to, there won't be blood and things, not at least intentional blood.
No. Do you think there'd be a fireball again?
Yeah, I think probably. It'd be weird if they sort of did it that once and then it can't, because it didn't really go sort of that well, did it?
No. I'm surprised they found a way of editing it on the YouTube channel to make it look like that Scarlett did the fireball. It
still looks a bit off. Like, it does look like it's way out.
Seeing as Drew didn't really sell it at all.
Drew doesn't sell fire.
No.
Scottish.
Is it a foregone conclusion to say that Karrion will win? Or does it? Because if Bray Wyatt comes back, which we're expecting,
that's the final part of our predictions, is the White Rabbit, and we probably have to talk about that now, don't we? Because, like you said, like White Rabbit, which is at the moment is one of the most interesting mystery kind of storylines in a really long time in wrestling. I can't think of another one that's been this intricate, like where it makes at least full use of kind of technology now. Like, you've got all the QR codes, and on Monday you had one of the Magic Eye codes. It's just been so interesting watching people follow it, debate it, discuss like what each thing could mean. Bray's always been, and again, this is just assuming it is Bray. I mean, it kind of seems like it is. But that's the thing, like, it might not be. But when we say about things being predictable, and it's not always a bad thing if it's predictable, this is one of those examples.
Yeah. I
think. At the moment, it seems very obviously predictable that it's going to be Bray Wyatt. Or Bray Wyatt is involved in these the cryptic kind of messages and things. But yeah, I'm not going to be mad about it. But I don't think it's just going to be Bray. I think there is more to the story. And I think in now a couple of the codes, one of the ones from last night does give the date of Extreme Rules.
Yeah. So
it does seem like that's probably where we're going to see it. But then there's these theories going around about... I saw one, and I wish I could credit them, because I saw it on Twitter and I can't remember who put it up there. But I'm sure there's been plenty of people that have said the same thing. But I've seen somebody said about this theory that Bray Wyatt will come back with like this new faction, and the faction is the Firefly Funhouse characters brought to life.
Right.
So Mercy the Buzzard would be Dexter Lumis. Abigail the Witch is Scarlet. And obviously then Karrion Kross would be, I think, one of the others. And Braun Strowman would be in there as well. And that would be like his new faction. And I could honestly, I'd get behind that. I could easily get behind that. And then that would line things up quite nicely for Survivor Series War Games.
And one thing that everyone forgets was that there was a rabbit that got killed every week.
There was, yeah.
Rambling Rabbit.
Rambling Rabbit.
But with that theory, I still go, well, there was a Vince McMahon puppet.
Maybe it's Vince. Maybe the White Rabbit's Vince McMahon. Could you imagine? And he comes out. What if it's the other way around? What if Vince comes out and he costs Karrion the match? Because Drew was always his chosen one.
True.
And then he dons the gimp mask on Karrion Kross.
Well, people thought the White Rabbit was Karrion Kross because that was his name, one of his names in what is it? Lucha Underground, I think.
Yeah.
But
again, that's what I mean. Like, it's so detailed. Yeah. It's so detailed. It's great.
But going back to the match.
Yeah, the match. That's what it's really hard to predict the match, because like you feel like this is going to play a big part in it.
Because can they have Drew lose 2 in a row?
I think you can.
Can you have Karrion Kross losing his first big match?
I'm going to say Karrion Kross reluctantly, because I feel like if there's going to be a swerve anywhere, and if it's going to be Bray, you know, it might be a swerve that it's Karrion Kross.
And to be fair,
like, it actually might be that Drew, you know, he's targeting Karrion Kross. Like, I don't know.
Because to be fair, with Extreme Rules matches, I don't think a loss really hurts anyone, because it's not officially clean. It's always seen as dirty because you use weapons.
Yeah, I guess so. But this one we probably won't see much in the way of weapons. I wouldn't.
Well, the strap is its own.
Yeah.
And you don't need weapons in a strap match apart from the strap itself.
Exactly. I don't know. Well, I'm fireballs, which we will see. I don't think they'll just abandon it. To confirm, I think I will go with Karrion Kross reluctantly. You're going to go with Karrion Kross reluctantly.
Yeah.
We only agree on 2 matches for Extreme Rules, so this will be a very interesting one. That's what we think. Let us know what you think. Comment below your predictions for WWE Extreme Rules this Saturday. Extreme.
Where is it, Philadelphia?
Yeah, well, that's the land of the extreme. Well, you'll have to tune in to WWE Extreme Rules this Saturday to find out. Obviously, it's going to be available on WWE Networks, on Peacock. I think you can still buy it on just like Box Office.
BT Box Office over there, yeah.
BT Box Office. I was still thinking Sky. I was years away then.
Yeah, it's not been Sky for about 2 years now.
Glory days. Glory days. Well, that's been our predictions. Again, as always, if you've enjoyed this video, we do have other videos, so go ahead and check those out. We also host a weekly podcast called the Pro Wrestling Roller. You can find that on any major podcasting platforms. So do go head over there and check those out as well if you want to, if I can get my words out. That's kind of what happens on the podcast, actually.
Yeah.
Bye.
We are on.
Oh no. Okay. Do it again.
We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter by using...
Don't ask me. You know what it is. You know what it is. It's at TM.
So you don't know. At TMF.
What? TMOF _ wrestling. It's that underscore. It gets me every time. Whatever you're doing, stay safe. We hope you are having a great day wherever you are. And do remember to check us out on whatever you want to check us out on. Really, that'd be great. Bye.